If you struggle with food cravings, I'm about to give you 6 practical, realistic, and applicable ways of combating those cravings. So keep watching. Hey guys, what is up? My name is Kat. I'm a registered dietitian and I upload weekly videos on intentional and mindful eating, as well as sharing my minimalist approaches to nutrition and nutrition coaching. And let's go ahead and just jump on into this week's topic, which is cravings. It is something that a lot of people struggle with. It is something that I have a lot of experience in dealing with myself. And so these are the top 6 reasons why cravings come up. And I'll also be talking about how to approach them to get over them and combat them. So starting off, the first one is really foundational, and for a lot of people, just doing this one thing or focusing on this can really help to combat those cravings. And that is to make sure that all your meals are paired well together with protein, fats, and carbs. So all of those macronutrients are there for a reason. They're all really helpful in helping you feel satisfied and reducing the chance of having cravings. So carbohydrates are going to give you that quick source of energy. Proteins are going to be really helpful for helping you feel full quicker, and fats as well are going to help you feel full, making sure that you stay satisfied and stay full until your next meal comes or snack. So I do have a free downloadable in the description box below, and it is my 3-day meal plan where I provide a 3-day meal plan as well as walking you through how to create your own meal plan in a way that is going to provide you energy, it's going to provide you satiety, and is in a sustainable way. Okay, so the next reason and tip is to get ahead of hunger. A lot of times whenever you have cravings, whether that's for sugary food or salty food, it's just because you're hungry. So whenever you're hungry, you have low amounts of energy, and a lot of times you're gonna crave those foods with high amounts of energy. And your body is smart. It knows that that is going to be the quickest way that it can get that energy. So if you can use step number 1 of making sure that you're pairing your meals well together, as well as making sure that you get ahead of your cravings, that can be so helpful in reducing those cravings. So if you normally have cravings at a specific time of the day, and at the same time you know that it's a while from your previous meal or snack, you might just need to tweak some things here and there, whether that is making sure that your snack or your meal is more balanced, or if you're just craving food because you're hungry. Number 3 is by prioritizing sleep. Now, this is something that I struggle with, but really getting good quality sleep is so important whenever you're trying to combat your cravings. And the reason is because your sleep has a big effect on your hunger and fullness hormones. So there's a hormone that is called ghrelin. And ghrelin, you can kind of remember it because of thinking of your stomach growling, essentially. So whenever you have low or poor quality sleep, your ghrelin is going to be higher than what it normally is. So you're going to be more hungry than normal. And on the flip side, there's another hormone that's called leptin. And leptin helps your body feel full, essentially. And so whenever you are having poor amounts of sleep, your leptin is going to be at a lower amount. So you're going to be more hungry and less full at the same time. That's just a recipe for cravings. So if you can prioritize sleep and see if that has an impact on your cravings, that can sometimes be so helpful. All right, the next step is to just combine some of your cravings into your meal so you can get ahead of them. So if you know that you always have cravings for sweets after a meal, try to get ahead of it by adding some sweet to your meal. So this is kind of in the same idea of having a variety of textures in your meal, having something kind of crunchy, something a little bit more chewy. Well, you can also do the same for flavors. So instead of having a meal that is just savory, that umami flavor, or something that is salty or sour, like adding a little bit of sweetness to it can really help in getting ahead of those sweet cravings after a meal. So whether that is sprinkling a little bit of cinnamon or ginger or adding a little bit of fruit to your meal, whatever, that can really help. And it's really important to do that before the cravings actually start. And a lot of people find that whenever they do get ahead of it in that way, they don't need to eat as much of that sweet down the line to satisfy that craving. All right, the next one is to change up your patterns. We as humans just love patterns. We're really good at getting on a pattern. And let's say after dinner, you normally go sit on the couch and you have a big bowl of ice cream while you're watching TV. And if you want to change that craving, it's going to be a lot harder if you just kind of do that same, stay in the same environment and like will or discipline yourself to not have that ice cream. It's going to be a lot harder if you do that versus if you change up your environment entirely. So after dinner, instead of going to the couch and eating that ice cream, if you can go to a different part of the house and maybe do a different activity, maybe play some board games or do some cleaning, whatever, if that is something that can help reduce some stress, or, you know, taking a walk outside, something that you can do to change that environment will be really helpful in reducing that patterned craving. All right, and the last one is to determine whether it is a physical or emotional craving. So for some people, they can really tell if their craving is coming from a place of true hunger or if it's coming from a place of emotional hunger and emotional kind of craving. But for other people, it can be a little bit gray. And so a really good question to ask yourself whenever you're trying to determine whether or not your craving is because you are truly hungry or if it is an emotional craving is just asking yourself, what are the physical sensations that I am feeling? So whenever you are physically hungry, you will feel probably some stomach growling. You might feel low energy, maybe a loss of focus. You might have a headache that starts to come on. And yes, while at that point you would find it really nice to kind of jump into your cravings or fulfill your cravings with a donut or a cookie or whatever, kind of sweet or salty, that sounds like a good idea. At the same time, you also feel that having a wholesome meal would be really awesome too. And so if there was a wholesome meal in front of you without having to do a lot of work to prepare it, you would be fine and feel satisfied with eating that. Well, with an emotional craving, an emotional hunger, that wholesome meal just isn't appealing. And all you want to do is just eat that really salty or sweet food. And really, there's not any physical sensations that come along with it. And there's not going to be those same physical sensations there. So I do want to say that if you do dive in and satisfy your cravings, even if they are from unhealthy foods, it's not the end of the world. It's not that you're a bad person. There's nothing inherently wrong with it, but it can just be really helpful to know what's going on, to know how to approach it, to know where those cravings are coming from, and just to use all of this as just a learning experience and a way to get more data on yourself so that you can just become more mindful of your actions and why you're doing those actions, and really just see if those actions are serving you or harming. So that is all I have for you today. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And I'll see you next week. All right, bye guys.